Well, hello everyone, and welcome to a new series of videos. In those videos, we're going to talk about PHP. The first video, we basically going to talk about what is PHP, what is it used for, and then we will go through the steps of actually how do I actually run a very simple hello world PHP document. So we're going to start with what is PHP, and before we get to that point, we need to understand a concept in networking, which is what we call the client-server concept, as the opposite of peer-to-peer. Now, we're not going to talk about peer-to-peer, but we're just going to focus on the client-servers. Client-server networking basically means there are two computers. One of them is going to be called the client, and the other one is going to be called the server. The client usually will make requests. Those requests are going to be sent to the server, and the server will respond to those requests. So that's basically what we mean by client and server. Now, what does that have to do with PHP? Well, PHP is what we call the server-side scripting. So it's basically a piece of code that you're going to learn how to do, and is going to be executed at the server side, not the client side. The client side is basically the HTML and CSS and sometimes JavaScript that you see on your screen. Just to give you an idea about what we're talking about here is, imagine that you are trying to buy something from Amazon. So the first thing you're going to be doing is basically to log in. You're putting your information, your email, and your password. Then that email and password is going to be sent to the server. The server is going to be basically using the information that you send using PHP and SQL, and look through the database of Amazon and see if there's someone with that account, with that password. The moment there's a match, you will be receiving, or a new page will be loaded which contain everything related to you on Amazon. You can see your purchase history, you can see something that they recommend for you, and all these kind of details. So here, this is a client-server side. Another example, you want to log into your bank account. Well, the idea is very simple. You're going to enter your username and password. Your username and password are going to be sent to the server of the bank. And then the bank server is going to be basically using PHP or whatever server scripting language that they have. And then it's going to find your data and then send you a new page. And that page that you're going to see basically will contain your bank account, the balance, how much money you have, the number of accounts you have. And you can perform a lot of tasks there. Now, what you need to understand, for example, if you're trying to transfer money from your account to your brother's account, you're going to basically, in your side, you're going to make the request. Nothing is going to be done in your side. You're going to make a request for that to be done. That request is going to be sent to the server, and the server contains a server-side program that's going to take responsibility of executing that request. And you will be only getting the results of the execution. You cannot see the code that's going to be executed in your computer. All that's going to be done in the server, and you will only be notified, or you're going to be having only the results of your request. So that's basically what we mean by a client-server module. Now, PHP by itself, let's see, provide. For a lot of reasons, by the way, why do we do that? Why can everything done in your computer system? Because the level of security which is related to those type of tasks should be high, and for that reason, most of that is going to be done on the server side. That's one of the reasons, of course, not the only reason. Now, what is PHP? PHP by itself, it's a hypertext preprocessor. That's what PHP stands for. It's a programming language. It's basically not programming language to be specific. It's a scripting language that is going to be basically interpreted and executed at the server side. You will not see the code PHP whenever you receive it. You're just going to be receiving the results of that server side. So that's what we mean by, this is here just to show you how it's done. Now, before I get into this graph here, you need to understand that websites usually are static websites and dynamic websites. Static website, basically when you have only HTML and CSS and JavaScript, for example, in your computer system. And by static, we are in dynamic. We're not talking about containing elements that moves. That's not what we mean by static. Static and dynamic, basically, we're talking about the content itself. Is it fixed, it doesn't change, or it changes depending on certain situations? For example, if I log into Facebook from my computer, I will see my data, my pictures, my posts. and messages from my friends. Now, using the same website, using the same computer, if my brother, for example, came later and logged into his account, he will see only his data, his pictures, his posts, his messages. That's what we mean by PHP. So, and the whole process, again, as I said, relies on a very simple process. Your computer will make a web request using your HTML page that you see on your end. That request is going to be sent to the server. Server is just a powerful machine somewhere near your home, not very near your home, but somewhere. When the computer is going to receive that request, the computer basically is going to load the PHP file, execute that PHP file, get the results, and send you the results in the same format of HTML. Why is it sending it HTML? So your browser can actually view it to the user. That's the rule of PHP. Now, your role in this course is going to be to create this PHP and store it inside the server, and then make sure that it's going to be able to receive the data and requests from your side, execute it, and send the results back using the correct and proper format. That's what PHP is all about. Let's see here. During the semester, we're going to talk about the structure and the syntax of PHP. We're going to talk about the variable, constant, operators. We're going to talk about data types, conversations. We're going to talk about how do we make decisions. If you have any background in programming language, you see that most of those are going to be repeated. Nothing completely new for you. So that's why we're not going to spend long time talking about those concepts, because I'm pretty sure you already know it. And at the end, one of the most important applications of PHP is having a login system. And this is what we're going to learn in this class, is how do you create a login system? How do you create a website to sell your product? Something like that. Now, I'm not going to go through the syntax in details today, but I'm going to show you some examples of how to create a simple PHP to print a very simple message later. So this is what PHP is all about. This is, again, me giving you a very short introduction about PHP. We're going to go through details, a lot of details later as we go through the semester. Now, what do you need for this course? Well, you need a text editor in your computer system. So I would recommend to download what we call a Notepad++. It's available, it's free, and you can download it anywhere from the internet. Now, later I'm going to talk about this structure of this file that you see here, but this is not the whole point right now. But it's just text editor that especially helps whenever you write a code, because those coloring code could be very helpful to find out if you made any mistakes in the future. Now that we know the software that we need to understand, is that the only tool that we need? And the answer will be no. The issue that you have to understand with PHP, that you need to have a server so you can run your PHP and you can run it. You cannot run it on your computer system directly. That's not going to work. Now, why is that going to work? I'm going to show you an example right now. If I go here to this page, and I will just come here and say, let's see here, question mark, PHP. Let me see. I don't think that's the case. Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. Yep. I'm pretty sure I forgot that question mark again. Here. Okay, so this is my PHP. Again, I'm going to explain the syntax later, but let me just go ahead and type echo hello world. Okay, and put semicolon here. So now I have this page. If I want to run this page, if I go to the folder that contains it, which is not this one, where do I have it? I have it in desktop. It's called website, my website, and here it is. Of course, I'm going to explain this later again. Index.php, not HTML anymore. Let me try to open it. Open with more applications. Let's go Internet Explorer. Let's see what's going to happen. You can't see anything here. Okay, let me open it with another browser. For example, this one. This is Chrome, so I'm going to drag it. Let me open a new page here. Drag it and put it here. And look at this. The computer wasn't able to interpret it. This is just showing me the text as it is. Remember, this is supposed to be a website. So as you can see here, It's not working. You cannot run a PHP code or file in your computer system. What you need a server, okay? And here's your three options that you can use actually to run your PHP. First of all, you can, let me see here. You can have your PC as a server. That's option number one. Option number two, web host. And option number three, which what we're going to be using is the AWS, Amazon Web Service. So we have this option, we have this option, and we have this option. And let me just explain those three options, and then I'm going to tell you why we're using AWS. Use your PC as a server. Basically, that includes you installing a computer in a software in your system called Apache. Apache basically will convert your computer system to be a web server, so you can actually test PHP there. It's doable. You can do it, but I don't want to do it this class because I want to teach you something new, something different, something that is gaining a lot of attention these days. Also, converting your computer system to a server basically means you need to take the security of your system very, very seriously, because that could be the gate that a lot of people can actually have to access to your system. And if they have access to your system, your web history, whatever you do in your computer system could be available for hackers. So you have to be very, very careful here. I'm not talking from a point of I'm the expert of security, but I know this is a very simple fact. If you're going to have a server, the level of security you have to apply for that server should be not as the level of any computer system. It should be much, much higher. So that would be number one. Number two, you can use a web host. Now, when it comes to web host, we have mainly two options. It could be free, or it could be not really free. So again, what's the difference? Well, the not really free one, you're going to have to pay money for it. This one, you don't have to pay money for it, but you may ask, so why do people go with the free version? Because the company that's going to make you use their service for free need to get their money somehow. And that will be by basically posting a lot of elements into your website, whether you like it or not. It's not your call. You're not allowed to call your website whatever you want it. They're going to have to call it whatever they want it for you. And a lot of other details. And in addition, I couldn't find an easy web host, a free web host to use. So that's why I tried them and I decided I'm going to skip them. Now, the third option, which I'm going to be focusing on this course, is the AWS. AWS is basically a shortcut for Amazon Web Service. Now, before we get into this class is not about AWS, but I highly recommend everyone to learn about it. If you can get certified, that will be even better. So what is AWS? The idea here is very simple. Any business in the world, no matter what that business, for example, a website, that's a very simple form of a business, need to have a server. Now, big companies, small companies, somehow they will need to have a server on their sites. And those servers mainly are expensive. Like to build a server, to build a data center, so you need to have a building, you need to have equipment, which are very, very expensive. You need to have a team to manage them, and you need to have expert to take care of the security and the maintaining of that. And also, you need to think about disaster when it happen, or if your system goes down, what are you going to be doing? So to have your own data center, that basically means you need to spend a lot of money to do that. And depending on the size of your business, the bigger your business is, the more you have to spend. And the problem is, if you had a business and you came up with a system for that business, and then later on you realized that, oh, my business is growing way too faster than I thought, then you will find yourself, whatever you have right now may not be enough, and you have to ditch that and throw it away and have a new one. So having your own data centers and having your own servers basically means you're going to have to spend a lot of money. Amazon took note of that and decided that they're going to build data centers and servers around the world. Huge data centers around the world. And what they say, we say, no matter what kind of business you have, what kind of service you have, and instead of building your own data center, come and use mine. It's available, it's secure, and you can use it as long as you want. You can cancel at any time, and you will only pay for it how much you're using. That comes as a solution for a very, very expensive part of any business. Now, instead of you buying all these equipments and hiring a team, all you need to have one person who is expert in AWS who can control the whole thing from home. He doesn't even have to come to work. And also, you don't have to buy anything. All you have to do is ask for the service, use it for a month or 2 or 3 or a year, and then, of course, the longer you use it, the less you're going to have to pay. And then it comes with a payment, a monthly payment. And that monthly payment, believe me, when you go and check their pricing, it's basically really, really cheap comparing to buying your actual components. Now, some businesses will think, well, no, thank you, Amazon, we don't want that, because after all, your data, your information is going to be hosted by another party. So if you have the trust issues with Amazon, then you will never put your data with Amazon. Again, we're not business here. We're just trying to learn about the AWS, and we're trying to learn about PHP. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be using AWS. Now, what do you need to do for AWS from your side? And this is what we're going to be talking about later. Number one, okay, here's number one. You need to have AWS account. So this is something we're going to talk about later. Number two, you need to create what we call an EC2, which is a server. And then number three, you need to configure it. You configure the EC2 so it will act like a web server. And then finally, you're going to have to upload your file. Okay, so here we go. Those are the 4 steps that we have to go through to actually try. Today, in this video, if you can create your own AWS account, create your own server, configure it, upload your file, and test it, that's all I'm asking for. And then later, we're going to start putting the AWS on the side, focus on the PHP side, get it done, and then after you're done, you go and test it on a real server. So now we're going to be moving on to the AWS to see how does it work. But before I do that, I already created my account, so let me show you what we're looking at. Where is it? Here it is. I'm going to go ahead and log into my account. Again, I'm going to go through this back again when you're going to have to create a new account. But now I'm going to go and use my root user. For security purposes, I have to go through this, which is, again, something not that easy because I keep making mistakes. Let's see if this is going to work. I knew it. So it's 2R7743. This is not my password, by the way. Okay, now it's working. Let me put my password. And here we go. This is me logging into my AWS. Now, if I just click on services, these are all the services that Amazon provide. Look at this long list of services. Now, it's lucky for us, we don't have to go through all of that. We're just focusing on having an EC2. So I already had my EC2 here. I'm going to click on it. EC2 is basically a virtual server that I am renting at AWS. And again, since I'm using, this is an account that I created recently, so I can use this for a year. Free, without the need to pay anything. So if I go click here, this is my server. It's running, as you can see here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you my website. Here it is. And here it is. This is the website that I created. Now you may think about those tables and you say, oh, did you create all of that? I would say, no, I didn't create all of this, but I just created this part here. So let me just show you how did I did that. So if I go here and click on action, connect, I'm going to go back through this again with a lot of details. Just stay with me. So this is my Linux server. Whatever I'm going to type, I'm going to explain it later, so you don't have to worry about this. Change. And here it is. This is my PHP file that I have there. Now if I go ahead and cat, this is my file, as you can see here. I really don't like some part of it, so I'm going to go ahead and fix this. Let me go and type nano index. And now I'm going to just edit it a little bit. Let me take that table that you guys saw at the end of the file. Take that away. Let me just move all the way here. Take that out. Testing, echo. Again, you don't have to worry about what you see here, but let me just focus on this part. You see this HTML, head, body. This is HTML elements. This is the PHP section here. I'm going to type my name here instead of testing. Okay, so I'll just keep it this way. And Control X. Do you want to save? Yes. And enter. Let me clear. And now it's clean. Let me go to this page. You see this page here? I updated it. So if I refresh it, and now it's gone. I don't like the 10 that comes after my name. I can go ahead back and fix that. Let me see if I can add an echo here. Semicolon. Because yeah, usually the echo will add a new line automatically. So Control X, yes, okay. And let's clear. Now if I go to my page again, update it. Oh, that didn't work for some reason. Let me just make sure that I actually, yep, I changed it, but the echo didn't work. Let me just go ahead and do the nano thing. And I am wondering if the skip line will work, but it's not. I think it's not going to work. So this is, again, just a trick that I'm going to be playing. HR followed by a BR. Those are tags from HTML that we know. So let me just go ahead and save it. Control X. Now let me clear. This clear is just an extra from me. Oh, whenever you see something like that, that basically means you made a mistake. So it's not actually working. I made a mistake. Let me go back and try to fix that mistake. Yep, I know where it is. Echo need to be surrounded by single quotations. Now Control X, Y. Let's go back here and try to fix that. And here it is. Anyway, so this is my web server, and this is my website that I created. And that's how simple it is. So what we're going to be doing now, I'm going to go through the process of creating a new account, and then I'm going to be going through the process of creating an EC2, configuring EC2, and then after that, we're going to start uploading the file that we're going to create. And then after that, I'm going to talk at the end of that PHP info part that I just deleted. So before we actually start creating our accounts and setting their account and everything, let me just go through the basics of PHP, or at least what you can actually you need to know before you start answering the labs for this week. I'm going to create an empty page right now. This is my page. As you can see here, it's name new one. What I'm going to be doing, I'm going to save this page. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead here. This is my website. In this area here, I'm going to call this page index. Again, just remember, just like any other pages. But the most important part, it has to have a format of index.php, not HTML anymore. Remember that. So where is PHP? Here is PHP. So we can see here index.php. Right after that, we need to put the basic structure of any HTML file. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. Doc type HTML. Nothing new here. You already know what is this HTML open tag. And this is close HTML tag. Again, nothing new. This is the head section of HTML. This is the close head section of HTML. Remember here, we can add some tags here, but we're not going to be doing that now. And this is the body. And this is the body. Now, what you need to understand that a PHP page is just like any HTML page that you know. The only difference here is in the body section, in addition to the elements of HTML that we know from the HTML class, we can have a very special tag here. It's called, you put a question mark, you start with a question mark, and you put PHP. And then after that, you go down here and you close it. And this should not have a space. Okay? So that's, again, the main element inside HTML is to have this open tag. It's a single tag, by the way, an open and close. You start with a question mark, you type PHP, and then you type PHP. Long time ago, you used to have to put server, scripting, and you put the language type, but they simplify it to this format here. Now, of course, after that, you're going to have to save it. And then after that, in this area here, this is where you're going to type your PHP code. Now, for today and for the next coming classes, we're just going to learn about the syntax. Whatever we're going to be doing may not make that much of sense to you because just we're trying to learn the syntax and the rules. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually come here and type echo. Echo basically means a print on the screen. You put a single quotation, open and close, and semicolon. Now, in this area, you can type whatever you want to type. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put an h1 close tag. And I'll put h1 here. And I'm going to put my name. And then after that, I'm going to come here and type another echo. And I'm going to put another tag, paragraph this time. And in this area, I'm going to say, I like turtles. I like turtles. Okay? So this is my very, very simple HTML page. Now, of course, this will not work until we upload it to an HTML service, and then we can actually see the results of running this part. So now I'm going to save this. I know where did I save it, and I'm going to keep it at that point. And now my job is to go to the Amazon server website, AWS Amazon, and let's try to create a new account. Now, at a certain point, you will be asked about a credit card information. What do you need to understand here? If you follow what I'm going to be asking you to do, you will not be charged anything. But if you keep messing around and playing around, you might end up paying something. So, unfortunately, there's no way to move around this. You're going to have to enter your credit card information. But the thing is, they will not charge you for anything. Just make sure that by the end of this class, you just delete everything you've done. So after 1 year, you will not get hit by a $10 bill of using their service, which you basically don't remember. So let's go ahead and do that. You click here. Now, of course, I already have an account with them using my email. So I can go ahead and continue here, but this is not the point. I'm going to say create a new account. Now, as you can see here, it's going to ask you to create your email, your password, confirm your password, and then you create your AWS account number. Now, remember here, you're going to be logged in using your email address, not this account. This is just a name that you're going to call yourself. Once you're done with that part, let me just try to do one here really quick. Password, I'm going to go and create a new one. I hate doing this, but I'm going to do it, and I'll say KCC, my. Okay. Let's go next. Don't save it. And here we go. Is this a business account? No, it's personal account. You're going to have to put your name, your phone number, your country, your address, city, phone, postcode, and all these kind of details. And again, I am not going to go through this process. You're going to have to get it done by yourself. It's really simple. There will be a part where you're going to have to enter your again credit card information. Just remember here, you are not going to be charged anything if you follow what I'm saying here. And you can see here, always free, never expires. Okay, and they're going to give you a free tier offers, 12 months free, and trials. A lot of trials just to try it. Again, so what I'm going to do, let me go back to AWS. You remember here, you're going to have to create an account with them. I'm going to go next. I'm going to log in just like I did before, BDSGTF. And then I'm going to have to enter my actual password. And here we go. So this is the first page you're going to see. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new account. So I'm going to go ahead and click on server. You can click on servers if you want, or you can just click here, launch a virtual machine immediately. Now, of course, when you're going to come here, it's going to ask you, what did I click again? Let me just go back just to make sure. Yep, this is where if you want to create a new one. If you click here and go to EC2, it will take you to a different page. This is the page that you're going to see. Your job, again, I already created a virtual machine. You can see it here. But what you're going to be seeing here in your side, you're going to see the dashboard at the beginning. What you need to do, you need to create a new virtual machine. So I'm going to click on that. And it's going to show you those options. Now, you may ask a question, which one of them I should choose? Well, some of them are free, some of them are not. So I will always look at this free tier eligible. So I'm going to go with this one. Very simple, and go and select. Remember here, this is asking you for what type of processor do you have. Well, most of us are using x86. And this is for versions of Apple devices, not the newest one. So let's go ahead and select this one. Now, immediately when you get to this point, it's going to show you a lot of types of that Amazon that I chose. And you can see here, a lot of them are not free. So you're just going to have to make sure you select the one that's free. And you got this one, free trial is available. And there's this one. It's telling you that there's one virtual CPU. There's 1 gigabit of memory. You can see it's really, really low-end device. Now, if I compare to this one, there's 2 CPUs. There's 1 gigabyte. So this is a little bit better. But again, it's showing me that's not available. So I'm going to select this one. He automatically selected it for you. So go ahead and do that. Now go to the next instance details. At this point, he says, how many of those virtual machines you want to create? Well, we'll go with one. Networking, it's going to create what we call a virtual private VPC. It's virtual private connection or something. Subnet, just keep the default. Don't worry about any of this. Don't change anything of this. Just keep it as it is and go with add storage. Automatically, you will get 8 gigabytes of storage, SSD, so that's supposed to be very, very fast. Keep everything as simple. Add tags, you don't have to do anything here. Configuration security. This is the part where it's very important to think about. Now, by default, the only way you can have access to your computer, your virtual drive using what we call SSH connection, which I don't want that. Basically because that involves that you downloading more softwares, configuring more. So I don't want to go through all of that. I need to actually configure and add more rules, especially for the inbound. So if I go here and click on add rules, it's going to show me a long list of them. What we're looking for is HTTP because we're trying to have access to a server. And it's telling me that it's basically going to have port number of 80. You don't have to worry about that. This is very important, HTTP. And it's telling you that everyone, if you remember this from networking, this is what we call, I'm trying to remember what it's called, mask, something mask. This is for IPv6, this is for IPv4. Basically, those numbers means anyone can have access to it. Again, it's a web server. You need everybody to have access to the website. So that's something you have to add again here. You have to HTTP. Now, what I can do, I can add something else. Let me see if I actually can do that. HTTPS as well, if you want to. That's another rule. Custom ICPD rule IPv4. This basically, not custom, all ICPD. This is supposed to be good for what do you call it, for pinging the device if you want to. But again, I don't want that, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete this part. And then I'm going to go launch and update. Improve the instance security group, launch wizard. So this is instant type. This is instant security. He basically added those story details, and let's go ahead and click launch. Oh, this is a very, very important part. Now, what's going to happen in your computer system, for security purposes, you're going to have to create what we call a pair key. And the pair key, you're going to have a copy at your end. There's going to be a copy at the server end. Why is this key is important? Because whenever you're going to try to log into your server, the key from your computer system is going to be sent to the key of the server, and they're going to look for a match. If it match, you're good to go. If somebody's trying to have access to your server, to your service from a different computer, they still need to have that key. If they don't have the key, they would not be able to have access. So I will acknowledge. Of course, you can call it anything. I'm just calling it Adam here. I will just say create a new pair of keys, and I'm going to call it KCKCC, for example. And I will say download the key. And now I have this file. If I think it's at download, if I open it, here it is, KCKCPME. Now, why is it important to have this key here? Let's say you have two machines. One is the one that I'm using, and there's a laptop. What do you need to do? Copy that and put it in the laptop. So when everyone have access from your laptop or desktop, you know you have the key. Now launch the instance and give it time. This will take a little bit of time. So let's go ahead and have a look. So you can see here that I have now two servers. This one that's running and this one that's still in the process of creating. We need to give it some time, and then when it's done and ready, we can start the process of updating that EC2, upgrading it, installing the filing or running it, and then after that we're going to start thinking about how do we actually upload a file there. So this will take a time. I'm going to stop the process for now, and I'm going to get back to it in a sec. Okay, so I think we are ready to go now. If you want to have more information about your virtual server here, I do have two of them. You should have only one of them. If you select the server here, you can go down here and look and see more information about them. You don't have to worry about the details for now, but let's just go ahead and show you what to do. After you select this one, you go click, you can right click here and choose connect, or you can click on the action here and choose connect. It's going to take you to this page. This page is going to show you some options. Now, again, if you didn't see this connect activated, that basically means you're coming here too earlier, because what you need to have a public IP address to have access to it. Remember, this is something we talked about in networking 1. Private IP addresses are used for internal connection, but if you want to have access to the internet, your machine needs to have a public IP address, and here it is. This is my public IP address. Now, if I just click on connect, it's going to take me to that. Now I'm having access to my Linux operating system. Now, there's another way you can have access to your system using an SSH or another third-party software. I'm not going to go through all of that. We'll just start with this one. Now, the easiest thing to do or to start with is basically, the first thing you have to do is to update your system. And actually, he's telling you that there's a lot of available updates here. A lot of available updates here that you can choose from. So what are you going to do? There's a lot of updates that you have to actually perform. So it's even giving you the command here. Now, sudo basically means use the account of the super user, or you can switch the users. And right now, this is the name of the user that you have. I don't want you to worry about that. Just follow what I'm doing here. This is not a Linux class, but if you should know a little bit about Linux, of course, sudo yum updates or update. And immediately you will see this. Are you sure you want to update all of them? I will say yes. Go ahead. And here we go. Of course, you need to have internet connection. I don't have to tell you that. It's going through all these 16 updates that he was talking about before. Give it some time and it's going to be installed. Now I have my system all the way up to date. Okay. Now the second part here is to install the Apache software. By default, your Linux, this server doesn't have, it's not a web server. So you need to install Apache there. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the command again, and you have to remember it. So let me clear the screen, typing clear, sudo, and then you type yum install, and then you're going to have to type -y, and then httpd, and it's complete. Now I have my my Apache installed. Now after that, you have to, again, so remember this, you update your Linux, you install the Apache, and now you have to start the Apache, and then there's an extra step that we'll talk about. So let's install, let's start the Apache. To do that, type sudo again, systemctl, and then you type start, and then you type httpd. Now this basically means your Apache is going to start working, even though you don't see anything, but it's working. Now after that, you have to configure your system. So every time your server is going to restart, you don't have to go and start the Apache again. It's going to start automatically. To do that, sudo systemctl, and then follow that by enable httpd. And here we go. This basically means it's going to be actually executed every time you run the program. Now, how do I know if my program does actually exist and it's working? Let's go ahead and type some. If I type psaux, psaux basically means it's going to show you all the programs that are running in your system. Now, let me just show you again. PS by itself, it's only showing me those two. Those are what we call processors, and processors are actually programs that's executing. There's one called bash, and there's one called ps. Bash is basically responsible of showing this part. PS is basically what I type right now. This is what we call the foreground, that there's a lot of background that's going on that you don't see. So what I'm going to see, psaux, and that will show you everything. And if you go down here, look at this, Apache. So I do have Apache running here. Don't worry about all these numbers that you see here, but I can see Apache and it's running, and I think I should have more than just that. So this is Apache. Let's see if we have more. Okay, well, I think that's enough. Okay, so that's the Apache. Now, the question that you have to think about is, now that I have Apache installed in my system, what should I do next? And I'm going to go ahead and show you what to do next. I'm going to type change directory, and I'll put / here. Let me clear. This is me moving to what we call the root directory, the head of the structure of the files. Now, if I type ls, this is going to show me all the folders that I have at the root directory. Now, if you want to think about what is a root directory, let me open my computer. C, for example, is my root directory, where all the files that I have installed in my computer system using Windows. So in Linux, we got the same thing. So think about this as the C in the hard drive. You see that I have a lot of folders here. What I'm concerned about is this variable var folder. Now what I can do here, remember here, cd is change directory. I want to go to this var. Now I'm inside var. Look here, this is how change. Now I see var. Before that, there was no var. Now, if I list this again, you'll see more folders inside var. What I'm concerned about, what I want to have access is the www. Now, change directory to www will give me access there. Let me just go ahead, ls. And you can see here, I got those two folders, this one and this one. I am concerned about HTML. So I'll go change directory and what is it called? HTML. And now if I go ls, and it's empty. So it's very, very important to understand that this here is my folder. This is where I'm going to actually write my code. Now, what we can do for the purpose of testing and testing only, I'm going to create the file here right now. Okay. So what what I'm going to do, I'm going to type the following. I'm going to type nano, which is the software that I'm going to use to write a code. And I'm going to create a file called index.php. And it's taking me to this page. Again, you don't have to do it this way, but I'm just going to do this for the purpose of testing. So I'm going to go here and type duck type HTML. And in this area, I'm going to type HTML, open, and close. And then between those head, I'm going to put the head and close head. And then after that, I will have the body and close of the body. Let's make it look a little bit better by typing some this is supposed to be body. In this area here, I'm going to type, remember, question mark, PHP, close, and let's put a tab here. And here I'll just type echo, semicolon, and I'll just type, for example, test. Now that I'm done, I'll just go ahead and Control X. Do you want to save? Yes. And enter index feature permission denied. Dang it. He's not going to let me do that because I need to change the permission. Okay. This is something I didn't think about. Okay, I'm going to stop at this point. He's not going to allow me to do that. Clear. Now if I go and type list, it doesn't exist anymore. All that went. Now we're going to talk about how do I move my file from my Windows machine into this server. So we'll start that in a sec. Okay, so before we start moving the files from my computer system to the Linux, let me just show you a little bit details. So number one, every once in a while, if you don't interact with your console window, it's going to freeze. So when you try to write anything, it may not work. And whenever you find yourself facing this situation, even this mouse that you see that I'm moving may not appear. So all you have to do is just refresh the page and you'll get to the original startup point of your instance or virtual server. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and navigate all the way back to that same file, the folder, the HTML. Now there's multiple ways to do that, but if you want to go step by step, you need to move back to the root directory. So change directory and put the backslash, which basically means that's the root directory. You click here and now I'm at the root directory. You can see that change from this simple to this simple. Now, if you don't know what to do, just type list ls, and then you will see that it's going to show you we're looking for var, change directory to var, and then now you can see here now it's changed to var. After that, we want to change directory to www, and then after that we want to change directory to html, and that's where we're going to have to stop, which you can see here it's empty now. Let me just show you how can I get this done in one simple step. If I go change directory back, let me see here. I want to go back to the original case, so let me just refresh the page. So I will just say change directory //// because I know that I have to go backward 2 times, and then I will just go ahead and type var and then www.html, and now I'm in the right place. Now let me just go ahead and do, I think it's touch. I just want to make sure that I got the right command. TOUCH, oops, come on, type, okay. So TOUCH index.html. Now if you don't know what I'm doing here, oh, still permission, oh, it's not even HTML, it's supposed to be, if I cannot create it, how am I supposed to change the permission? It's not allowing me to do that. It's okay, I'll just ignore this part. I just want to make sure that you know that I'm supposed to be HTML. Let me just clear everything. And if I go here and type ls, you can see here it's empty. Okay, what we're going to do now, we're going to move to again, remember here, I created this index PHP file previously, and I showed you how to do that. And now I know where is this saved at. It's in my computer system. Now what I'm going to do, and this is extremely important, that I'm going to go back to my AWS server. Now, one thing we need to do, we need to actually create a storage service, which again is free for my system. And you can see here, this is the storage service that they have. I will go with S3. Very simple choice. By default, you can use this for a year. And you can see here, I don't have anything here. So what we do, you're going to create a bucket. So I'm going to go ahead and create a bucket here. It has to have a unique name. So I'm going to call it KCC underscore Ahmed. I hope he doesn't have a problem with underscore. It's going to tell me that this bucket is going to basically create it in Ohio for me. If you already have a bucket, you can actually link it to it. You can do that. This is extremely important. By default, it's going to be blocked. You don't want that to happen. So you have to unblock it. So everybody will have access. They will tell you, oh my God, what are you doing here? Are you crazy? I was like, yes, I don't care. I want it to be turning block to be public access. Mirrors in a bucket to be object with becoming public. Okay, I don't care. Just keep it. The current setting may result in a bucket with objective with other company bucket. Okay, go ahead and acknowledge that. We don't, again, you can choose enable, disable. That's not a problem here. I'll just go disable just in case the enable may end up having me to pay extra more. Do you want to encrypt it? Of course, I think if you go if you choose enable these services, it's basically going to be charging you some money. Let's see if the advanced setting here, no, everything's disabled. Now create the bucket. He's asking you, oh, he doesn't like the name. Bucket names must not contain uppercases. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. We'll go Ahmed KCC. And I don't think he liked the underscore. So I'll go ahead and create it. And here we go. We have our bucket. Now, I do have two of them actually. The one for my instance, you should have only one shown. So we have this one. This is the one that I just created. So I'm going to click on it. And you can see here that it's showing me this page here. Now, if you go properties, let me just, did I select it? I have to select it first. Where is it? Oh, yeah, it's already been selected. Permission, it's all off, so we're good. Let's go back to objects. Let's go upload. Now, he's going to ask you, what do you want to upload? Well, I want to add a file. And remember, I had that file created in my system. I don't know where did you have it in your system, but here it is. This is the index file that I have. It's called index.php. And you go ahead and click upload. Now you can see here that it's uploaded. So I'm going to close this. And now I can click here, click here. It's going to take me to this page. This is the link that I'm looking for. This is a very, very important link that I'm looking for. Now, right after this part, I'm going to keep this one open. And most importantly, I am going to click here and copy it. I need to have this URL. Now, remember here, back in my Linux server, I need to navigate to this HTML folder. Again, if you forgot how did I do that, I'm going to go ahead and do it again. Just give me 1 sec. We're going to go again here. Remember, cd / to get you to the root. List it. You're looking for the var. So change directory, var. And then after that, list again. We're looking for www. So change directory, www. And then list again. We're looking for HTML. Change directory, HTML. And now I am in the right place. What I need to do after that is to type wget. Okay. And this URL, again, remember here, if I go to my Amazon S3, it's showing me that I have those two buckets. I'm going to select the one that I just created that you have. Select this one, click on the file. It's going to take you to the properties of that file. We are looking for this part here. So I'm going to copy that. After you go to the HTML folder, you type wget and you go again. You cannot right control here. So Control V. Control V, remember, Control V. Now click enter, and he is forbidding access to it. Let's see, why is that? Connected to the W servers. It's waiting for the respond. Why is it forbidden? I just changed the settings there to allow that. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to freeze or stop the recording. I'm going to go and try to figure out why is it acting that way, and I'll get back to you in a sec. Okay, so I'm back. I think I figured out what's going on here. Again, back to the bucket. It's the bucket itself. You click here on it, and then you select it here, and you click here. It's going to show you a list of options that we have here. Now, enable bucket vision. I don't care about that part. You have to go to permission now. When you go to permission, you'll see that object owners read, write, but this attendees are disabled. So what I need to do, I need to change that. I can read from them. I believe this should actually, I understand again. Add guarantee. No, there's no need to add a guarantee. Then save the change. Now the change has been saved. Remember here, let me just go back and show you what I just did. You choose your bucket, the bucket that you just created, and then you selected it again. You click on it, and then you go here. It's going to show you this page. You go and click on permission, it will show you this section. Before, those were not affected. You can see it's giving you a warning. This is basically means, oh, you're playing a risky game here. Again, I don't have anything to lose. You can have access to that file. It's just I'm doing it for the purpose of testing. So you go ahead here and select those options, and then you save your change. Now, well, after we're done with that part, let's go ahead back here and try to repeat the same thing. Let me go back to this page. Now, I don't have to retype again all of the things that I do, but you know what? I think I should. Let me just go back here, because that may change the link here. So let me just copy that again. And let's go back here. Let me clear. Oh, see, this is the part where I have to refresh the page. Wait for it to load. Now again, change directory var /ww/html, and then if I go list, it's empty. W get, and then you can't right click, just control V, and I think it worked. Yes. Now if I go list, it didn't. Permission denied again. But this one's different type of error. Let's see, why is it acting that way? Request length under 72. Permission denied again. Cannot write to HTML success. Okay, I'm gonna block it again. Try to figure out why is it acting that way. Okay, so I think I might find out why is it acting that way. I need to actually type sudo to do that. So let's see if that's gonna work. W get, and then control V. Oh, look at that. Okay, so I'm going to say something here. I'm not the expert. I'm doing those double quotation error when it comes to Linux, but because those small things that I always forget. Sudo basically means you are trying to perform something using the permission of the root owner, which basically can't do anything. So I forgot to write the sudo. Now, if I go clear everything, and I'll go list, and you can see here I got index. If I go cat index, it will show you those pages that I created. As you can see here, echo, and then I like turtles. So let's clear that. Now, if I want to update or change, nano, that's the text editor, index.php, and now I can come here and I'll just type something extra. Oh, I forgot there's supposed to be a semicolon here. And let's go echo, and let's just put what do I put here? I'll put a bold. Let's see here, or let's say I element. Let's close that I element, and let's just put I hope this works. Now, if I want to save, Control X, type Y, enter, a permission denied, of course. Okay, let me just go ahead and fix that. Clear. Now, if I go back, here's my file. If I want to change the permission of this file, permission denied, basically, by default, I'm not allowed to change anything. If I want to do that, I need to type sudo chmod, and I'll type 3 sevens, I believe, 3 sevens. Let me just make sure if 3 sevens, LSAL. So every 3 is a number 1, 2, 3. Yep, so 3 sevens. Let me just go back and do that. Sudo, remember here, I'm going to change the permission so I can change whatever. So we type with sudo chmod 3 sevens and then index.php. Now I can change. Look what's going to happen here. If I type ls minus la, or al, sorry. Now look here. This is my file. It's telling me that, again, R basically means read, W means write, and then I can only read here. Look what's going to happen after I typed this command here, the sudo chmod. It has been changed to be all accessible. Now, if I go and type nano, I can go ahead and change whatever I want to change. Echo. I hope this is not really overwhelming for most of you guys. So let's say, hope this will work. Control X, save it, and now I am good to go. Now this is the moment of truth. Let's go ahead and see if it's actually going to work. So I have to go back to my AWS account. Click here, and then click on your EC2, and then click on instance. Remember here, I have 2 of them. Now I have to remember which one of them is the second one. I think this is the second one. And then remember here, you have to click and copy that, and then go to, this page is used to test the purpose of operation of Apache after it has been installed. If you can read this, it means that Apache HTTP server installed at this site and it's working properly. If you are a member of the Perl, this is not what I'm supposed to see. Well. After 2 hours of digging and looking and searching, just trying to figure out why the page that I just created is not actually showing the right content, I was able to figure out what it is. And to be honest, I'm not sure why is it acting that way, but after I give up and I was like, this is the last thing I'm going to try, I decided that I'm going to delete my my first instance that I created, the one that I created. When I showed you my page of AWS, there was a server there. So I decided to delete that one and keep the new one. And after I kept the new one, I can tell you the new one from the, this is the new one that I created this morning. This is the IP address. It looks totally different than the one that I had before. But after I deleted that one, I just decided to give it a try. And voila, it worked. I'm El Kinani, I like turtles. And then after that, let me try this part. And it's going to give me the same exact results. Now, if you go to the console window of the Linux, I was navigating, and here it is. This is my index PHP file. I just want to make sure that you guys understand that this is not the old one. This is the new one that I created this morning. This, if I go here and click on connect, this is my page. The other one didn't start with 3. It started with a different number. I don't, I'll just go and check the videos. It's a different number, of course. So this is the new one. This is the new one that I created this morning. And it worked. Let's just go ahead and do that again. Connect. Let me go ahead and close this window and this window. Let me navigate and open this one. And here it is. It's working. Okay. So I was able to manage to get it done. I'm really happy about that. I'm just going to do one last thing just to show you some additional information. So if I go and change sudo super user I'm going to go to the root, which he has the privilege. He can do anything he wants. That's the user. Now, if I go to the directory, the root directory, I got those files. Now let's go to var www html and list. Here's my index. If I go to the cat, oops, index.php, oops, clear. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Let me save, refresh my page. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and do sudo su, and let's say change directory var www html. Let's go list. Here we go. Cat index, and here's my file. Now nano index. I'm just going to add one thing here, and I'll just say PHP info open parentheticals. This is a function, and again, if you're coming from background programming, you should know what function. We're going to have to talk about functions about, but this is a function. This function will show you all the settings of PHP in your server. So I'm just going to go ahead and save it, and let me clear. Now, if I go back to my page, oops, I made a mistake. Let's go ahead and see what is that mistake. Nano index. It could be in the PHP. Let me see. Let me make sure that I got the typo correctly. So, PHP info. I hope I didn't misspell it or something. Yeah, PHP info. Oh, I know why. Let me I have a semicolon here that I forgot to put. Let's go ahead and do that. Control X. Save it. Let's hope that's the reason. And here it is. I'm Ilkinani. I like turtles, and you can see here this is PHP version 7.234. That's, I believe, the latest version available, and you don't have to worry about all these settings. Just telling you everything related to PHP that you have in your server. So as I said, you don't have to worry about this. The system. This is the system that PHP installed, which is the Amazon server that we have built. I think this is basically, well, 21. No, that's old. That's not me. Apache holder, handler, virtual directory support. Again, you don't have to worry about all these details. So here we go. I was able to get it done. So thank you for watching, and wait for more videos to come.